If you just got the new Galaxy Z Fold 8, this video was made for you. Today, I'll be showing you the first settings to change, some customization options, and of course, some very interesting features you need to know. So that being said, and without any further ado, let's begin with the first thing you need to do on this phone, which is to come to the settings, then swipe down to the battery subsection right here, and start optimizing the battery health and battery life. So let's swipe down here to power saving. As you can see, we have a classic low power mode for when we need to stretch the battery life. But in this case, we have two options. We have standard and we have maximum. And well, just as a little tip, if you're going to use this mode, I suggest you tap on maximum because as you can see, the difference is between 4 hours and 20 minutes and 10 hours and 16 minutes. So it is way better at preserving battery life. Now also here on the battery section, we have a battery protection mode. This is not going to give you more battery life, but it is going to give you more battery health. In this case, we have a basic protection and maximum protection. As a little tip, I suggest you turn it on and you enable the basic mode. This one is barely noticeable. It is not going to affect your user experience, but it is going to ensure a better battery health over time. And well, of course, maximum would be better, but it is noticeable and it hurts your user experience. So I don't think there's any need to enable this mode unless you have very bad battery health. Now, another setting that's going to affect your battery health is this one right here. Charging settings. As you can see, we have options for fast charging and fast wireless charging. And well, although these are great for charging the phone at a faster speed, they also burn the battery faster, making it lose capacity at a faster rate. So if you're like me and you charge your phone at night, I suggest you turn both of these off so your battery doesn't heat up as much and well, it preserves its capacity for longer. Now, that being said, and also here on the battery section, we have an option for wireless power sharing. So if you turn it on, you'll be able, as you can see on the video, to charge other phones or accessories using the back of your phone. So as you can see, if I put my AirPods on the back, there it is, on the back of my Z Fold 8, they're going to start charging thanks to the battery I have on the phone. Now, as a little tip, I suggest you don't charge other phones with this feature because that's going to burn a lot of your battery life. But for your earbuds, this is a great feature because they don't really need that much battery or that much power. But trust me, there's going to be a time when you want to listen to music, you don't have any battery life, and adding a little bit of juice with your phone is going to save you from boredom wherever you are. But anyway, that being said, it is time to talk about improving your battery life. So let's swipe up here to background usage limits and make sure that put unused apps to sleep is enabled. Now, to be fair, I have to say that disabling this feature can be nice because that way all of your apps are always available on your multitasking section. But most of the time, if you have an unused app, it doesn't really take that long to reopen it again. And this way, you are going to save a noticeable amount of battery life. Now, moving on and outside of the battery section, let's tap on notifications and then tap on app notifications. As you can see, we have a very long list with every single app that can send notifications to our phone. And something you need to know is that each one of these apps is connecting to the internet and fetching data all the time. And of course, it is burning battery life, so it can send you notifications. So the least amount of apps you have on this list, the more battery life you'll save. Now, what I suggest is that you only enable the apps you actually need to be sending notifications. Every other app, you can turn it off and save battery life. Like maybe Bixby or Google Chrome or say Facebook. Many of these apps don't need to be sending notifications. And as I said, the least amount of apps, the more battery life. But anyways, moving on, and also to save more battery life, let's tap on connections, then tap on Bluetooth, and then turn it off. I'm pretty sure at some point you'll want to use Bluetooth accessories like earbuds or a Bluetooth speaker, but most of the time you're not using any Bluetooth accessories with your phone. So one of the most basic but effective battery saving tips is to disable Bluetooth when you're not using it. And well, of course, you don't actually have to come to the settings. You can swipe down here on the quick action tab and turn off Bluetooth right here in a much easier way. But anyways, that being said and moving on, now I want to show you how to improve your fingerprint sensor so it's way faster and way more reliable. For this, you'll have to come to the main settings page, then swipe down to security and privacy, then swipe down to screen lock and biometrics. Of course, you'll want to enter your PIN or password, and then you want to tap on fingerprints. As you can see, I currently have 2 fingerprints. You may have 1, 2, 3, or whatever. And well, what I want you to do is to tap on each one of them and remove them from your phone. Don't worry, because we're going to re-add them immediately after, but you have to delete them first. Once that's done, let's tap on Add Fingerprint, Continue, Register. And now what you want to do, pay close attention, is to use 2 fingers. So we're going to swipe 1 finger, and we're going to use another finger next up. A little bit of one and a little bit of the other. So that way we have 2 fingerprints on the same theoretical fingerprint on the phone. I know it's a little weird, but bear with me. Now, once it's done, we're going to add another fingerprint. Let's tap on Register, and we're going to use the same 2 fingers again. So a little bit of one, a little bit of the other, and we're going to swipe them until we have 100%. And well, once it's done, you'll see that your fingerprint sensor is noticeably faster, and it is also more reliable. Now, don't ask me why this is. It is actually pretty weird that this is the way to improve the fingerprint sensor, but it is noticeably better. If you do the fingerprint recognition process this way, you're going to notice better speeds and more reliability. But anyway, that being said, and before we move on, now I have something for you watching this video. Okay, so a lot of you know me from this channel, whether it is in front of the camera or back there in the top-down shot. But right now, I'm actually building a new channel that's a little bit more ambitious, where I will be needing some extra help. More specifically, I'm looking for a co-host to be in front of the camera with me, and I'm looking for a videographer to shoot the videos. So if by any chance you're interested in being a co-host on a YouTube channel, or you are a videographer, send me an email to this address so we can talk. But anyway, that being said, let's now get back to the Z Fold 8 because I have a lot more things I want to show you. And well, why not start with one of the most useful things to enable on this phone? The ability to continue what you're doing from one screen to the other. Surprisingly, this is not something that's enabled by default on this phone. You actually have to come to the settings, then swipe down to the display settings, and then swipe all the way down here to continue apps on cover screen. Now, by default, I think it's going to be set to never for some weird reason. And what I suggest is you tap on always, so you always continue what you're doing when you flip displays. Now, something to know is that this affects every app you have on your phone, which is great. But if you're on your home screen like this and you flip displays, that is unfortunately not going to work. It is going to send you back to the lock screen for some weird reason. But anyway, that being said, another very interesting feature on this phone is the ability to change the size of your folders and also change their functionality. So by default on Samsung phones, you'll see your folders look like this, where you have to tap on the folder and then tap on the app to actually use it. But there is a very simple way to make them better and more useful, which is to tap on the folder, tap and hold, and then tap on enlarge. This way, the folder is going to take up more space, but you'll be able to access the apps directly from the folder without having to enter the folder first, which is going to save you a lot of time. And well, another very cool feature with Samsung folders is that if you tap and hold and then tap on settings, you can actually change the opacity of the folder to make it transparent, so it looks like there's smaller apps bundled together, or you can increase the opacity again and change the color to essentially any color you want. As you can see, we have a full color palette to choose any color you want for your folders. And well, of course, if we're talking about folders, we have to talk about widgets. If you tap and hold on your home screen and then tap on widgets, you'll be able to add any widget you want that's available from any of your apps. So let's tap on camera, let's add this very small widget right here. It is going to automatically appear on an empty space. And as you can see, we can also resize the widget to multiple other sizes, which is very, very interesting. This is not available on other devices to this extent of customization. And well, much like with the folders, if we tap and hold and tap on settings, we can also customize them further. In this case, we can add a widget background from your photos. We can add a watermark so it can say anything we want. We can make the widget say potato, as you can see, although it doesn't really make any sense. And if the widget has a 2x2 size, we can also give it a special shape. So we can make it a circle, we can make it a ghost shape, or we can make it a bubbly shape. And well, of course, we can also tap and hold, then tap on create stack, and add another widget on top of that widget. So we have two on the same space. And you can do this with any widget size. You can do this as many times as you want. So you can save a lot of space by not having to have every widget, taking up a large amount of space. You could have them all stacked on top of each other. Now, once again, if you tap and hold on the home screen and then tap on settings, you can actually change the icon size. So you can make the icons a little bit smaller, as you can see, although it is not that noticeable. And you can make them larger, which I'm pretty sure is going to be noticeable compared to the smaller icons. Now, also here on the home screen settings, if we swipe down to show search on home screen, we'll have the option for the first time to not only add a search bar, but also find a finder bar. So as you can see, I have both a Google search bar, but also a Finder app that's going to allow me to search for anything that's on my phone. So essentially we have an internet search bar and we have a local search bar together on the bottom of the phone. Now you could also have one of them, like the Finder bar, as you can see, or you could come here once again, turn both of them off, and have absolutely nothing at the bottom of the phone, which I know is not really that useful when you have the big unfolded display. But if you're using the phone folded with the smaller display, which is, as you can see, also a little bit shorter than a normal phone, deleting that bar can actually give you more space for your apps. But anyway, once again, if we come here to the home screen settings and swipe down to recent or suggested apps, we'll see that we have the option to show suggested apps on the dock. We can add 2 apps, 3 apps, or up to 4 apps on the dock. So let's tap on 4, swipe back home, and as you can see, now the dock includes suggested apps on top of the apps that I've included myself. And well, once again here on the home screen settings, we have the option to tap on cover screen mirroring and turn it off. This way, the opened phone is going to have a different setup than the closed phone. So if we tap on apply, you'll see that the setup we have when the phone is unfolded is actually completely different from the one we have when the phone is folded. So as you can see, we have these 4 apps right here at the bottom, but if we open it up, those apps are in a different layout. But anyways, that being said, another very interesting feature to know about this phone is that you have a lot of keyboard customization. So when we open the keyboard and we tap on these 3 dots at the right of the keyboard, we can actually select from different modes. So right now I have the default standard keyboard, but I can use a split keyboard, as you can see, or I can tap on floating keyboard to have a way smaller normal phone-like keyboard on the phone. So I can have more space to see what's behind. And well, if let's say we're using the split keyboard, which is actually very useful to type with your thumbs, we can also tap on the settings icon right here, then swipe down to size and transparency, and we can also select a different size for our keyboard to make it smaller or bigger, and we can even move it like this so it's closer together or further away. In fact, as a little tip, this may actually be the best keyboard layout to very rapidly type on your keyboard with only 2 fingers, like this. But anyways, that being said, it is time to talk about the lock screen customization on this phone. So let's tap and hold on the home screen, then tap on wallpaper and style, and then tap on the lock screen. As you can see, like always, we can tap on the time to change the font, to change the size of the time, and to change the color, which I always suggest you use on automatic mode because it's the one that's going to contrast with the background better. Now you can also tap on the time and manually make it bigger or smaller, as you can see. Although with the unfolded display, you can't really actually make it take up that much space. Then of course we have widgets, which we can have up to 4 small ones or 2 bigger ones, as you can see. So let's add these small widget and these other small widget. We could have up to 4 of those smaller ones. And of course, we can also change the quick actions at the bottom. So if we tap on the flashlight, we can select from any of the other quick actions or any of your apps on the phone. And of course, well, the same goes for the other one. We can select from any quick toggle or any app. Now, of course, we can also tap right here to change the wallpaper from any of the default Samsung wallpapers, any of your gallery photos, or we can also create one with AI. So we can tap on generative, we can select from any of the default layouts, and then we can select any of the other customization options we have. So let's select a desert in shades of pink, and let's say it is realistic. Let's tap on generate, let's go. And as you can see, after a couple seconds, we have up to 3, I think, or 4. We have 4 options that are generated with AI. So you can run it back and it's going to give you another different 4 options. So you can play around and come up with exactly what you're looking for. And well, as many of those as you want. But anyways, that being said, and once again coming to the settings page, now I'm going to show you how to make this phone feel and be faster than it normally is. So let's swipe all the way to the bottom. Let's tap on About Phone. Then let's tap on Software Information. And then on Build Number, we want to tap 8 times. Once that's done, it is going to ask for our PIN or password. And automatically, it is going to allow development settings, which is a special setting below About Phone that's going to give us access to all of the backend settings that are only for devs, but that actually are not that complex to understand and give us even more customization. As you can see, first off, we can see how much RAM we're using. In my case, I'm using 5.7 out of 12. And if we swipe all the way to the middle, it's actually a little hard to find at first. We'll find window animation scale, transition animation scale, and animator duration scale. If we tap on these options and make them 0.5 instead of 1, all of the animations on the phone are going to be double the speed. So everything is going to be a lot faster when we enter apps, when we move around. As you can see, things feel way faster because every animation is happening at double the speed. And well, if you actually want to make things super, super fast, you can also tap on animation off on all of these 3 settings to, there we go, not have any animations and make things even faster. But anyway, that being said, let's now talk about one of the most interesting customization options for this phone. As you can see, it has a much bigger display than a normal phone, which allows for much better multitasking. And on top of that, it is actually way easier to set up than on a normal phone. We just have to swipe up on the dock like this, then tap and swipe on another app and place it at the bottom, at the left, or right of the phone to easily create a multitasking setup. As you can see, now we can use 2 apps at the same time. We can also resize these apps so one of them takes up more space than the other if that's what we want. And well, additionally, we could swipe up again on the dock, then tap right here on these 9 dots at the left and select from any of the other apps we have on the phone. So I can select the calculator and then swipe it here to the left again to create a very nice 3-app layout. Now, additionally, we can swipe this one almost out of the equation. So we can have 2 bigger apps like this, but then if I tap on the calculator, we can have the other 2. So this way you have 2 very nicely sized apps working at the same time, but also 3 apps in total that you can access at the tap of a button. And well, if at some point you want to make one of these apps big again, so it takes up the whole display, you can swipe it all the way to the right or left, so it becomes a full screen app again, or you can tap right here and then expand the app, so once again, it becomes a full screen app again. But anyway, that being said, Now I want to show you another very cool feature that's enabled thanks to the phone having a bigger display and being a foldable phone. So if we tap on the camera app, and then we tap on this button right here, that's at the top right of the camera section, we'll be able to enable a selfie mode, so to say, where we can use the back of the phone to record a selfie, but of course using the main cameras. So you can actually see yourself when you're recording, which is very nice because this way you can actually vlog or take a selfie, actually seeing your face, but also taking advantage of the much better cameras on the back of the phone. So you don't have to use the crappy selfie camera, which is of course way less quality. Of course, this phone is a little bit more complex than a normal phone, being a foldable device. But I feel like with everything I've covered in this video, you're going to get properly started and properly set up. Of course, if you have any questions about anything that I've said, you can tell me down below. And if not, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you again very soon. Peace.